Hey Bougie click. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that sparks intense debate and reflection, the enigma of pretty privilege, why people love to hate you. Have you ever noticed how pretty privileged individuals often find themselves at the center of conflicting feelings? From men who fawn over them to women who feel overshadowed, the interplay of love and hate is intricate and revealing. In this video, we'll explore the male gaze and the female perspective, and how the pretty privileged navigate a world that both adores and resents them. We'll also delve into the powerful portrayal of these themes in the film Malena, where beauty becomes both a blessing and a curse. So, join us as we unravel the layers of pretty privilege and uncover the truths behind the love-hate paradox.
I'ma make you a fan.
The enigma of pretty privilege, why people love to hate you. Pretty privilege is a phenomenon that transcends mere physical attractiveness. It's a social currency that can evoke admiration, envy, and even disdain. Unattractive men, unattractive women, average men, and average women all find themselves orbiting around the gravitational pull of pretty privileged women. Their reactions, whether worshipful or disdainful, are rooted in a complex mix of love and hate. The male gaze, fawning or negging. First off, let's talk about the men. Unattractive men and average men alike often find themselves in a peculiar predicament when faced with a pretty privileged woman. She's the epitome of unattainable beauty, a living, breathing reminder of their own perceived inadequacies. They might admire her, but deep down, there's a simmering resentment. Why? Because she represents everything they believe they can't have. It's like being perpetually stuck in a candy store with no money to buy the sweets. The frustration is real, and it manifests as dislike. When it comes to men, their reactions to pretty privileged women can be boiled down to two primary settings, fawning or negging. If a man likes her, regardless of his own looks or status, he will go to great lengths to make his feelings known. He might shower her with compliments, gifts, or simply his undivided attention. If he's shy, he might not confess his feelings outright, but he'll find ways to be around her, engaging in seemingly random conversations just to be in her presence. On the flip side, if a man dislikes her, it's often because he feels she's unattainable. Rather than risk rejection, he'll resort to negging, making backhanded compliments or subtle digs to undermine her confidence. Yet, paradoxically, he'll still seek out opportunities to interact with her, driven by a need to be noticed, even if it's for the wrong reasons. The female perspective, imitation or resentment. Now, let's flip the script and talk about the women. Unattractive women and average women often harbor a different kind of animosity towards the pretty privileged. It's not just about the attention she garners from men, though that's certainly a part of it. It's also about the societal pedestal she's placed on. She's the one who gets the compliments, the opportunities, the doors opened for her, literally and figuratively. It's a constant reminder of the unfairness of life, where beauty often trumps substance. The envy is palpable, and it's not just about wanting to be her, it's about wanting the privileges that come with her looks. Women's reactions to pretty privileged women are equally complex. If a woman likes her, it's often because she admires her and wants to emulate her. She'll seek out her company, hoping to absorb her secrets and perhaps, in some way, become more like her. This admiration can border on hero worship, as she strives to imitate the qualities that make the pretty privileged woman so captivating. However, if a woman dislikes her, it's usually rooted in jealousy. She resents the attention and adoration that the pretty privileged woman receives, feeling overshadowed and inadequate in comparison. This resentment can manifest in passive-aggressive behavior or outright hostility, as she grapples with her own insecurities and the desire to be someone she believes she can never become. The double-edged sword of pretty privilege. But let's not forget the pretty privileged woman herself. She's often caught in a paradox. On one hand, she enjoys the perks of her looks, who wouldn't? On the other hand, she's acutely aware of the undercurrents of resentment that follow her. It's a double-edged sword, and navigating it requires a certain level of finesse. She's not just a pretty face, she's a survivor in a world that both adores and despises her. On one hand, it grants the bearer a certain level of social capital, opening doors and creating opportunities. On the other hand, it can also be isolating, as the pretty privileged woman navigates a world where everyone's reactions are tinged with a mix of love and hate. She becomes a mirror, reflecting the desires, insecurities, and aspirations of those around her. Whether they worship or dislike her, their feelings are a tangled web of admiration and envy, love and hate, all centered around the enigmatic allure of pretty privilege. Malena, the love-hate paradox. The film Malena stands as a prime example of the paradoxical nature of human emotions, how people can both love and hate someone at the same time. Set in a small Sicilian town during World War II, the movie follows Malena, a woman whose striking beauty and presence elicit conflicting feelings of admiration and resentment among the townspeople. Her story is a testament to the complexities of admiration, envy, and the fine line between love and hate. The men, admirers, and resenters. Malena's beauty bestows upon her what we might call pretty privilege. The men in the town are undeniably captivated by her allure, drawn to her like moths to a flame. They adore her, their eyes filled with longing and desire. However, this love is laced with a potent undercurrent of resentment. The men know they have no real chance with her, and this unattainability gnaws at their egos. They go to great lengths to be noticed by her, driven by an innate need for her acknowledgement. In the twisted logic of their affections, any attention from her, whether positive or negative, validates their existence. Yet, when Malena is physically attacked by the jealous women in the town, these so-called admirers remain passive, doing and saying nothing to defend her. This inaction reveals the ugly truth: deep down, they resent her for being unattainable. Their love is superficial, driven by lust and fantasy rather than genuine care. They love her beauty but hate that they can't possess her. The women, imitators and aggressors. The women in the town are equally conflicted in their feelings toward Malena. On one hand, they are drawn to her, wanting to be around her and absorb her charm and allure. They see her as a figure to emulate, someone who embodies the grace and beauty they aspire to achieve. They love her for the attention she garners, hoping that some of her magic might rub off on them. However, this admiration is deeply entangled with envy and hatred. Malena receives all the attention, the admiration of the men, and the longing gazes that they desire for themselves. This envy festers into a toxic mix of resentment and self-loathing. The women hate Malena for embodying what they believe they can never be. Their insecurities drive them to lash out, culminating in physical attacks on her. Their violence is a manifestation of their internal struggle, loving her for what she represents but hating her for making them feel inadequate. Malena's arrival and initial perception. At the beginning of the movie, Malena's arrival in the small Italian town immediately captures the attention of everyone. Her beauty is undeniable, and she quickly becomes the talk of the town. Men are mesmerized by her presence, while women are suspicious and envious. This initial perception sets the stage for the complex reactions that follow. Men's admiration and inaction. The men in the town are infatuated with Malena. They gather in the town square to watch her walk by, unable to take their eyes off her. Their admiration is superficial, driven by her beauty and the fantasy of being with someone so unattainable. For example, Renato, a young boy, becomes obsessed with Malena and follows her everywhere. He spies on her through windows and even steals items from her home, all in an effort to feel closer to her. Despite their infatuation, the men do little to support Malena when she faces hardships. When rumors about her supposed affairs begin to spread, the men remain silent. Their admiration does not translate into genuine support or protection. This is painfully evident when Malena's husband goes missing in the war, and she is left to fend for herself. The men who once adored her now distance themselves, unwilling to be associated with her tarnished reputation. Deep down, they know that no matter what they do, she is out of their league, and they will never truly have her. This realization breeds a sense of resignation, leading them to turn their backs on her in her time of need, as they grapple with the uncomfortable truth of their own inadequacies. Women's envy and hostility. The women in the town are consumed by envy. They resent the attention Malena receives and the effortless way she captivates everyone around her. This jealousy manifests in various ways, from spreading malicious rumors to outright hostility. For instance, the women gossip about Malena, accusing her of having affairs with married men and being morally corrupt. These accusations are not based on facts but rather on their own insecurities and desire to see Malena fall from grace. The women's hostility reaches its peak when Malena's husband is declared dead, and she is left vulnerable. The women, emboldened by their envy, physically attack her in a brutal scene. They beat her, pull her hair, and cut it off, all while the men stand by and do nothing. This violent act is a culmination of their pent-up jealousy and a desire to strip Malena of her beauty and perceived power. Renato's unwavering obsession. Throughout the movie, Renato's obsession with Malena remains unwavering. He worships her from afar, even as her situation deteriorates. Renato's feelings are complex, as he is both in awe of her beauty and frustrated by his inability to be with her. He projects his fantasies onto her, imagining romantic scenarios where he rescues her and becomes her savior. Renato's obsession highlights the dual nature of admiration and frustration that men often feel towards pretty privileged women. His actions, though extreme, reflect a common desire to be noticed by someone unattainable and the lengths to which men will go to achieve that recognition. The paradox of love and hate. Malena masterfully illustrates the paradox of love and hate. The townspeople's conflicting emotions towards Malena are a reflection of their own insecurities and desires. The men love her beauty but hate their inability to possess her. The women love her allure but hate the attention she receives. This duality of emotions underscores the complexity of human relationships and the fragile nature of admiration. Malena serves as a compelling case study on how people can simultaneously love and hate someone. The men and women in the town are drawn to Malena for different reasons, but their admiration is always accompanied by resentment. This duality of emotions highlights the intricacies of human nature, reminding us that love and hate are often two sides of the same coin. Malena's story is a powerful reminder that the very qualities that draw us to someone can also be the source of our deepest insecurities and resentments. The perils of unrequited affection, a tale of danger and resentment. I attended a predominantly white high school where racism was prevalent. There were few interracial romantic relationships, and mixed friend groups among the girls were uncommon. I can recall only 3 interracial relationships from my high school experience, one of which involved me. One couple consisted of a white girl and a black football player, while the other was a biracial girl dating a white boy. I was the only monoracial black girl who dated outside my race at that school, and I was also among the few monoracial girls who received attention from white boys. This led to tension with many of the black girls, most of whom were dark-skinned and unambiguous. I remember in 11th grade when a senior football player, who was black and had the best body on the team, asked me out. Unbeknownst to me, he had recently broken up with his girlfriend, a senior and dark-skinned girl who already disliked me, to pursue a relationship with me. Soon after, she and her friends began bullying me, claiming that just because I was light-skinned didn't mean I was attractive and insulting me by saying I looked like a monkey. The bullying affected me deeply, prompting me to end the relationship, after which he quickly returned to her. I still wanted to attend prom that year, but now I was without a date. Although I didn't need one since I was a junior, there were no girls in my grade I was friends with going, and most of the senior girls had animosity towards me. Word got out that I was looking for a date, which led to complications. I had a biracial friend from middle school who was half Korean and half black, but we had drifted apart after attending different high schools. She was dating a football player from my school, and we reconnected briefly during that time. However, once they broke up, we went back to being distant. When her ex-boyfriend learned I needed a date, he offered, and I initially declined because he had previously dated my friend. However, he and another football player who liked me persuaded me that it was just prom and nothing serious, so I agreed. He quickly began showing me off to his friends, making it seem as if we were in a relationship. Shortly after, I received an anonymous letter from his friends, signing off simply as friends, stating that I needed to stop talking to other people's man. I told him about the letter, and he didn't say or do anything to defend me. I decided to tell him I didn't want to go to prom with him, and instead, I ended up going with my ex, who had broken up with that girl once more to take me to the prom. In conclusion, this experience demonstrates how some men might resort to dangerous behavior if they can't have what they want. I firmly believe that both he and his friend acted out of spite because I didn't reciprocate their feelings. Earlier that year, his friend attempted to date me, but my lack of interest likely fueled his lingering resentment. Conclusion: the pretty privileged woman is trapped in an unseen cage formed by societal views and expectations. Her beauty, a potent form of currency, simultaneously alienates her and places her at the center of widespread disdain. Malena skillfully reveals this contradiction, demonstrating how every longing gaze, hushed insult, and envious stare only serve to reinforce the barriers of her golden prison. Consequently, the struggle of the pretty privileged woman is marked by deep loneliness, where admiration and resentment coexist. As Malena poignantly shows, her existence is a fragile balancing act on the sharp edge of society's envy and desire, always under the watchful eyes of those who both crave and begrudge her striking beauty. The film Malena acts as a compelling exploration of the complexities surrounding pretty privilege. Men are enamored with Malena, captivated by a superficial admiration that fails to provide her with real support. In contrast, women are often overtaken by jealousy and hostility, resulting in acts of cruelty and aggression. Renato's relentless fixation on Malena further exemplifies the intricate relationship between admiration and frustration. Through these vivid portrayals, Malena powerfully illustrates the love-hate dynamic society maintains with pretty privileged women and the harsh repercussions that follow. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the enigma of pretty privilege. We've explored the intricate dynamics of admiration, envy, and the love-hate relationship that surrounds those deemed pretty privileged. It's a complex topic that raises important questions about societal perceptions, personal insecurities, and the paradoxes of beauty. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you view pretty privilege? Have you experienced or witnessed the love-hate dynamic we discussed? We'd love to hear your stories and insights. Make sure to subscribe for more content that challenges societal norms and dives deep into the human experience. Until next time, remember that beauty is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video. What do you think? Do people hate that they love pretty privileged women? Let me know in the comments section. Stay bougie. Follow and support me. All links in bio. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check description for more info. New episodes every day.